Thomas. You are old.
You're not that old.
Minus
Both of
19,
them are gone.
62. He's 62. Well, 61, about to be 62, and I'm like, goddamn, like, you look like you're still in your 20s. But it's like, nope, I'm still here.
It's the conspiracy theories.
Whose blood are you drinking?
I know the lizards.
Have you seen Inside Job on Netflix?
Yes! I've seen it like 3 times! I love it!
It is absolutely... I watched it, and I was like, yo, this is wild. And
I love it.
The very first episode is so out of pocket, and then your sister walked in while I was watching it.
Mm-hmm.
And then they killed like a goat or whatever it was, and she's like, I'm leaving. I'm like, you walk in at the wrong time, because this is like 7 minutes in, and then they kill something.
Yeah, like, you're not getting the concept. It's just like they're sacrificing something for the Illuminati. It's like way deeper than what you think it is. Come on, give it a chance.
No, it's not. It's wild. The only thing I really absolutely hated was the dad character. I hated him so much.
He was so trash.
I hated him. And it's like, I think, like, personally, I just don't like his voice or his, because I saw him in Mr. Robot.
Mm-hmm.
I just didn't like the dude. I don't care, like, what great high thing he is. I just, like, I hear him, and I'm like, zone out. Like, whatever's happening, I don't need to care about it. I can be on my phone now. And
that's just because he's just such a dick too, and like, I personally didn't like him either. But I love everybody else. I love the stories. I loved it. I watched it like 3 times. I think 3-4 times. It's like a comfort series now. Like, if I'm like really upset, I'll just pop an episode on and like watch it.
Daily Life of an Immortal King. That is a comfort. That is a comfort show. It is like 14, 15 episodes. The end of season 1 is just so heart-wrenching. You're like, I want more. Season 2, you're like, this is a lot of drama. Why we go from like, you're tearing my heart to like, I want to know the fuck of what's going on now. Like, why does this make sense? Like, oh my god, why are these people broke now? Why they go from like being Paris Hilton rich to like MC Hammer so quickly? And then you find out and you're like, oh shit, it was a conspiracy.
I love conspiracies, and I love like murder mysteries, and I like, have you ever seen those from Netflix that like the Darwin Game and High Rise Invasion?
I got 1 episode into Darwin's Game and I gave up.
Really?
I gave up.
I liked High Rise Invasion more, but it's because I kind of like that like type of anime too. Like, I just find it very like dopamine-y, and it just like hits you in the right spot when you watch it, and like that action. But honestly, my favorite thing was what you said before.
Speaking of dopamine, Domestic Girlfriend. You probably haven't seen it. Don't worry about it. You don't have to. I saw it in the dub. Mind you, I like stayed a whole like 2 years after being told about it, not wanting to watch it because of the name. Like the hidden the hidden dungeon only I can enter. That's one that I was avoiding. Is it wrong to pick up girls in a dungeon? Also one I was avoiding like crazy.
And it's so good though.
It's so good though.
My ex watched it. He said it was so good. He watched it like twice. I didn't watch it. Not yet.
Well, the 4th season is out and about. You just have to find the right streaming service. But I just stayed away from those so long, and then some dude's like, "Oh, Rent a Girlfriend." I was like, you know what? Let me
Rent a Girlfriend.
Let me try that. I couldn't get past the first like 8 minutes because like the dude's like, it's like, what really is this? What are we? And it's like, dude, like, you know what you're doing, and calm down. Don't spoil it because I haven't seen it yet. But
okay, no, I'm gonna tell you one thing. Is because I'm gonna tell you one thing that it's hilarious because he at literally 1 second he'll be like, but what are we in this, and like, I don't understand. In his head, he thinks how I think. Like, literally 5 million things going on in his head. He's like, oh my god, like, I don't know what to do. Does this mean this? Does it mean this? No. And then as soon as she's away and he's with like another girl or like his ex or whatever, he's like wanting to like her to, like, she'll be like, oh my god, like maybe we should be together. And I'm like, They didn't even like the other girl. Like, you literally don't know what you want at this point. Like,
so we have talked a lot about what was it? Marvel. That some of these bitches they need to slow down when they do shit. Oh yeah, stop milking these goddamn movies. I'm sick of seeing Shrek 2, 3, 12. All these like runoffs and spin-offs and shit. I'm sick of it. Stop it.
but the thing is,
no, there is no
it's not
thing.
the 2 and 3. It's the milking it forever. Because what the example I gave was the Fast and Furious franchise.
Oh my god.
I like it up until the 5. A lot of people don't like the 5, and I understand that. I personally do because I still think it fits their character. Because I like robbing the bank style movies like Ocean 11, Ocean 12. Like, I really like those movies. So personally, I like that touch because they're not superheroes. They're literally robbing the bank. Like, and it was very intricate and very like planned wise, and it was so good that's why personally I love the 5. But like movies after that one, like they kind of become this like this superhero flying cars like type of
we're
deal.
We're in space. We're underwater. We're in a submarine.
Because they're milking the cow. Same thing that happens with Die Hard. Love Die Hard.
It's a Christmas movie.
It's a Christmas movie. But my problem with Die Hard, it goes from like a rich dance nice story to literally like a fucking superhero movie. And that's not the point. Like for superheroes, I want them to be superheroes. Like, you know, it's John McClane. Like, don't like you're like changing the story. And that's what I don't like, because I understand because they're milking the cow too. Because now they have the rep. Which brings us back to Marvel, because that's the thing. Marvel has the rep already. They are Marvel. They have the rep. They had their years of, you know, putting all that work and all that effort into Iron Man, Captain America, Thor, all those like movies that created like their ground for their well-knownness, like kind of like, it's not even a word, but like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just because, so now any movie that they make mainstream media, me, likes really any movie. It's Marvel, it's a superhero movie. But when you really put it into details and like everything, it's not that it's not good, but it's just lacking on that richness, on that like
the devil's in
the details.
Yeah.
Because the thing is, the details make it or break it. But that's what people realize over time, like in my opinion, that like people don't really put that much effort, like put that much interest in the detail, because whether or not like the movies turn out kind of medium, people are still gonna go and watch it because Marvel has the rep. It's Marvel.
Yeah, it's also like Marvel is family, nothing stronger than family. But
that's Fast and Furious.
It's same shit. What? It's the same shit. Like you're gonna tell me that they haven't like after what?
Well, if you think about it, they're not family and they're not together because they didn't watch WandaVision, and then they made the movie without watching it.
That's
why they're now starting to fuck up.
A lot of people. So I remember when it was just Falcon and the Winter Soldier, Loki, and WandaVision, and then I saw Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Then I saw WandaVision and Loki was coming out, and the guys and I talked about it. And Sage didn't like Falcon and the Winter Soldier because like it was grounded in realism and racism, which like that's the whole point. Captain America he's a white guy. Why are you giving it to the black guy? Yada 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 yada. But it's because like it's the identity crisis, and it's also like some other shit too. And like we were knee deep in recording, and like they weren't hearing me, so I just had to like let them run for like 10-15 minutes, and then I had to stop it.
Yeah.
But it's like.
But I agree with him, because the reason I didn't like it was the realism. Hold on.
When you do something right, you can milk it. But when you do something wrong and then you milk it, you're just like destroying the legacy of what's there.
That's why you told me about Bill Nye. No, Bill Nye. No, Doctor Who.
Yeah, like Doctor Who's a perfect thing. They do like, you know, anywhere from 1 to like 5 seasons, and then it's a new character, new person comes in.
Because my thing with that is people nowadays, there's no much of that creativity. That's what I feel like it lacks. Like it lacks creativity. That's why people do so many reboots.
Everyone's so creative.
No, it's because they do so many reboots because look, and that's what I told you yesterday. That's what pisses me off. I'm like, you're doing a reboot and you have the story. You have an outline. You have a finished piece of work.
Finished product.
5-star. Exactly. Potato. You have a 5-star chef's kiss. Everybody loved it. Piece of work. And you try to reboot it because you're not creative. You're trying to pump out a bunch of movies every year to keep making money. And it's still overall, based on how much you spend on it, because you did a shitty work, so you're not spending as much with it, and you're getting that money back. So overall, like, I'm not going to lie, you're still making money, but the thing is, like, that quality isn't there. It's something that eventually people are not going to care for, people are not going to watch, and people eventually, like, they watch it when it comes out, but they're not going to watch it forever. It's the reason why people do Disney Plus nowadays. It's because you can go and rewatch all those, like, Iron Man, Captain America, the animated movies, like, all the animated movies, like, they were good stuff. Even, like, all the animated movies had their own rich, dense things. Like, they wouldn't flop on movie 2. Like, because movie 2 had its own thing. It wasn't really, because a lot of people see it as movie 2 has a continuation. Like, it's continuation of movie 1. Yeah. But that's the thing. If you finished your story on movie 1, you're starting a new story. It's something new. It's something different.
That's actually that's a great thing to bring up with the Barbie movie that came out. That they were like, I think in like one of the, not press releases, but one of the, like when she would go to a talk show.
Yeah.
Margot Robbie, she was like, from my perspective, we're not doing a second one.
No.
From what the director's like, we put everything into this one movie.
Yeah.
It's a one and done situation. It's not something for it to have 30 different movies.
But that's
now, the animated Barbie has a shit ton of fucking movies.
Yeah.
But that's like for its own thing of it's Barbie and it's going to be its own thing.
Because that's the thing. Everybody think that the Barbie movie is just about a Barbie. It's just about a doll. And I know you do. And that's why people don't understand. And I really hate that because I watched the movie twice. And when I say that I loved, there was the one part of the movie that I told you, like, I didn't like the speech that she gives based on women because personally, I believe in it and it is true. But what I hate about it is just like, I felt like they didn't make it personal because technically it's hard to make it personal too, because that's what everybody believes. That's what every woman believes and really think it is true. And it sucks making it more personal because it's not like every woman like is having their own different experiences, that every woman that believes in that speech knows that that whole speech is true. So it's really tough listening to it because it just feels like you're listening to the same thing 100 different times in several different women movies and several different people saying it. So it's really tough because all of it is true. But I love the details. Because when they come out with Barbie, I thought it was just going to be like Barbie, like it's a Barbie movie. It's like Barbie. But it really isn't. And especially because there's this one scene where Margot, she's crying because she's stereotypical Barbie. And I love how when she describes herself in the movie, she goes like, I'm just like stereotypical Barbie. Like, I'm the Barbie. When you think of a Barbie, I'm Barbie. And I love that because it's what literally people think. Like, people think Barbie, and she was perfect for the role because at one point she's crying because she isn't stereotypical Barbie anymore. And for some people, these flaws that she's seen on herself are really like superficial flaws. Like, it's like cellulite. Her feet aren't like pointy anymore. Her feet are flat. And for a lot of people, they're very stereotypical. And she starts crying and she says like, I don't feel pretty anymore. And it pins to the narrator, and the narrator says, note to the creator, like, Margot Robbie is not really the actor for you to cast when you want to say that. And I was like, no, she is literally perfect for it. She was amazing for it. Because the thing is, for you to say she's not perfect for it, it means that she should look ugly. And that's not realistic.
So
a lot of women, like, have you ever heard of women?
Hold on, with that thought process, have you ever heard of?
No, what I mean is, have you ever heard of a woman saying she's ugly, and when you look at her, she's beautiful?
Yeah, all my fucking life. Exactly. The other day at the gym, Girl's like, oh my god, I'm so ugly. I literally, it's. So we were all like lifting and having a conversation. It was one female, me and like two other guys. I was about to drink sketch. And
I was about to grab it.
And so she goes and she says, oh, like, I'm not whatever it was. I didn't even answer or say anything. I just looked at the guys and we're all like, bullshit.
Yeah, because the thing is, it's the self-view. So that's why
But originally it was supposed to be Amy Shumer.
She would have been horrible as stereotypical Barbie.
But with that like ideology, it's like, no, we wanted like an ugly person. That would have made more sense.
No.
But I didn't watch the movie.
It doesn't make more sense because
Amy Shumer should not have the platform she has, by the way. I don't think she's funny at all.
I don't
She's not interesting.
No.
It's that's me, D-Dog, saying not.
No, I don't like her. I like some of her movies, but I don't. After I started looking into her comedy, like I didn't like her that much on that part. Like I like some of her movies. But the thing with Barbie is because people didn't realize how perfect she was for that scene. How like literally amazing. Because when I watched it, I literally cried with her because this is what I tell my friends. When my friends come to me and tell me like I feel so ugly, like I don't feel pretty, like I feel like this, I feel like that, and I look at them, I tell them like, what do you mean? Like when I look at you, like I literally told one of my friends, I'm like, when I look at you, I literally see like Ariana Grande, like Dynasty. Have you ever seen Dynasty? So Dynasty is like this. I mean,
you're saying you're like, I know Gossip Girl, I know Ariana Grande, and I'm like, okay, I could kind of.
But it's like so like what did I just say?
Dynasty.
Dynasty is like this rich people thing, and it's played by well, this woman from Victorious, Jade from Victorious. And in Dynasty, she's like this rich, badass, fuck with me woman, and that's how I see her.
She could get it.
And I told her, I was like, I'm not saying this to like fucking like pump you up. Like, no, like when I look at you and you go out into the world, like that is how I literally see you. Like if you wanted me to compare you to someone, like someone else for you to see how I look at you, that's how I compare to you. And that's why Margot Robbie was so perfect and amazingly cast for that person, is because most women that say that, like, I don't feel pretty, and it's like, no, you look amazing. And I understand you're not feeling pretty because you're not happy with how you look like. And that's the point of her, like Barbie, she's still Barbie. Like when you look at her in the screen, she looks exactly like she looked in the beginning of the movie. She's just crying and she's sitting on the floor and she says, I don't feel pretty. And that's literally how all the girls really look like. Like you still look beautiful. You just don't feel it. So you're crying and you're upset. And that's why I felt like Amy would have done horribly. Barbie would have not been Barbie without Margot. And that is the view that I think people missed, was because they were judging her. Like, be like, what do you mean? Like, she's so pretty. She's so that. Like, you're just exaggerating. But it's kind of like that self-worth thing. Like if you compare it to like how you look in the mirror one day and you're just like, you know what, like I don't look that great. No, like for a woman, feel it deep.
I mean, self-esteem is self-esteem. And
exactly. And that's why like I felt like she was amazing for every single part of that movie. Because, and I'm not gonna lie that some stories are not cringe, because it's still Barbie. If you watch it, some of the scenes are still a little cringy, and I love that about it, because they still make it like a everything in one, like Barbie talking about women, realistic type of shit. Like she literally drinks out of a cup. Like there's no water in Barbie land, so she drinks out of the cup every single day. Her toast comes out, and just like how you would be playing with a Barbie and you drink a cup and there's no water in it, and then on one of the scenes they give her a cup with water in it, and she'll like splash it all over her face, and she'll go, I'm so sorry, like I'm not used to that having anything in it. And it's just those rich in details of they bring Barbie, but they also bring real world things into the movie, but not missing that. Like that's why, like for example, I agree with Sage when he said I personally was not that fan of a Winter Soldier, because Marvel has such that big like rep from being like, think of it as a multiverse from our own universe. It is a universe where superheroes exist, and it's not the same as here. For example, why you didn't see COVID in Marvel universe? Exactly. But that's the thing. It's because think of it as a separate multiverse from us.
Yeah.
But they brought real issues from our multiverse, our world, into Marvel. Which is why I understand him not liking it, but I also liked it at the same time. Well, keep it over here. I don't want
to. I will choke on shit.
I loved it at the same time because I don't think they made it unnatural. They brought real history to Captain America. Like I liked it over not as much as I liked Loki and WandaVision for that reason, because they're what we think of as like a superhero movie.
But to me, in terms of like the Marvel shows, those three were like the highlight of the entire MCU. I think it was like phase 4, phase 5. The entire backbone was those three, because everything else failed in comparison, except for the Black Panther movie. So slightly going like taking a quick beat off the minute. This strawberry dakafui, whatever it is, like 0 out of 10, not
Daifuku,
whatever it is. Dafiki Rafiki Minoker.
It's kind of it's like a little rice jelly with bean paste.
Whatever it is nasty. Everything else was good. Everything else gets like a 8 out of 10. Very, very nice snack.
I would not always pick this, but I do like this.
Except for these chips right here, because these chips right here, they were weird. 6 out of 10.
They have actual cheese in them.
It's maybe it's because I had pizza last night.
I love this peach candy, but my problem with it is like I can't do candy because I can't suck on it. I need to bite it, so I'm like chewing it right now. I can't do candy.
There's so much shit I could say because of that. I'm just gonna keep quiet.
Thank you.
Oh, now it's.
But they also have so much stuff. Like they literally have like a mini supermarket on the corner there, which I love. They have so many drinks. I only chose these because the other ones, they are all in Japanese and I couldn't tell what it was, and I already knew I would probably like these. But I tried their matcha, but I didn't know if you guys like matcha. Did you like matcha?
I don't think I've tried.
I'm gonna get one next time when I come back. And they had some like spicy chips, like shrimp chips. I'm gonna get one next time. I'm gonna get some different ones next time. But I really like this one. I like the takoyaki, but I wish it was less sweeter and more saltier.
To me, it was fine. Yeah, so they changed everything. They used to call it phase 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now it's like some completely different. All right, so yeah, WandaVision, Falcon and Winter Soldier, Loki. What also came out was Black Widow, which to me it did not have any place being. It shouldn't have even been made. Being very honest, it could have been like a 1 hour like short story thing. It didn't need like the almost 2 hours.
But no, so the reason of Black Widow was to remove her. But you also know they fucked her over, right?
Yeah, but hold on. They have the What If series, which season 2 apparently is coming out.
I didn't pass episode 1, but I actually like the concept.
It's really good.
But I didn't watch it.
Shang-Chi, it's the Mandarin. I liked it, and then towards the end I kind of hated it. And I was like, damn, like I can't give that a rating at all. Eternals, I liked. Hawkeye, which I feel like was a better story to give the passing of the mantle. Which I feel like if they had done that with Black Widow, would have been better because you could take more time to develop these characters. Moon Knight, which was awesome.
But the thing is,
hold on, Multiverse of Madness, Miss Marvel, Thor: Love and Thunder, She-Hulk. She-Hulk, it was okay.
Oh my god!
Like it was great because of the special effects, but like overall, like I didn't like it, and I felt like it could have been so much better.
Okay, first of all, let's wind back a little bit. The reason also with Black Widow is the reason for the movie was to give background and give reason for revenge. Because it's not a pass down the mantle because she didn't want her sister. No, she didn't want her sister into that world. It was just to give background and give a reason for revenge. It's not really a passing down the mantle because she wouldn't want that for her sister. Because it's not like Hawkeye. Hawkeye is literally passing down the mantle for a purpose. She would not have wanted that. If she had not died, her sister would have not become Black Widow. It's literally a background and reason for revenge. Because now her sister...
Anyone can be a Black Widow. Black Widow, the Scarlett Johansson version, is the only one that defected. Everyone else like got caught, put back into the Red Room, yada yada. And then she thought that she destroyed it, and then she joined S.H.I.E.L.D., but lo and behold, no, she fucking didn't.
But that's the thing. We didn't know that.
Oh,
and maybe
the main thing that like I was pissed about is that they're always like, "Oh, Budapest." I'm like, "What's Budapest?" And then they never talked about it in either of the two, movie or show.
Yeah,
I was like, "Way to tease us for the better part of two goddamn decades."
I feel like the Black Widow problem was like because the reason for this series is kind of like to connect it to the future movies. So it's supposed it should have been a passing down the mantle, but she would have not have wanted that for her sister. So really the whole point is the background story of the rise of the Black Widow, of why she's the Black Widow, and reason for revenge.
All right. Sage Squad. Those not a part of the Sage Squad, but you still seeing this message. It's important, all right? I know you get tired playing the game, especially on Unite. I always say get high off of potions, all right? Special item right there. Give you a little bit more life. Give you a little bit more energy, right? Bam, close combat into this W right here, all right? That's what I'm talking about. Get the W with W. That's what I'm talking about, okay? Use my code. It's going to pop up somewhere. Not sure where. But you're going to use that code, get 10% off your next order. The caffeine, all right? And it's not just that alone. It also comes with great vitamins on the inside. So if you do want to use this as pre-workout, because we know you like going to the gym, don't you sit here and lie, okay? Me as a Lucario main, I know we like to fight. So that means we got to stay ready. You know, we got to pump that iron. You know what I'm saying? Purchase WD. Code SAGE EJ.
That really is the whole point, is reason for it. That's why because she's a Black Widow already. So there's no passing down the mantle because she is a widow.
Yeah.
She's a Black Widow. So there's no passing down the mantle. It's just a reason for revenge because now we have a future Black Widow for future movies.
True.
The reason, but now, She-Hulk, how double dog dare you?
I felt like it could have been better.
Okay.
It was good, but in the amount of content I consume, I'm a little bit more critical about it. I feel like it could have been so much. And there's an episode that we have published for the podcast where like we did a tier rating, and She-Hulk unfortunately was like at the bottom of the tier list because visual effects wise, it's really good. Story wise, it didn't make sense. Character wise, I liked it. I enjoyed it because of the characters, but at one point it's like, what are you doing with the story? And then right at the end, it's like, I'm breaking the fourth wall. I need to talk to Kevin. And then Kevin's like a robot. I'm like, that's cute. That's funny. I like it. But why are we waiting until the last episode to do that? But there's literally a comic where her lover was like right in front of her about to die. And she's like, oh, we're not doing, like, I'm not going to see him die. I'm just going to go to where I need to like hold him in my hand.
Don't hate on She-Hulk. D-Dog's lying. It's good.
But not every live action is a good live action.
No. You're not going to run away from this conversation.
Yeah,
First of all,
I'm running away.
No, because the thing is, She-Hulk served the purpose that it was meant to be, but it's because Marvel is a superhero franchise that's why people didn't like She-Hulk. But She-Hulk served the purpose. And the purpose is, She-Hulk doesn't want to be a superhero.
Okay.
She is, okay.
I'm saying story-wise, overall, no me gusto, because I think it's a little weak. But everything else was really good.
Because the thing is, she is a full-grown adult. She didn't dedicate her life to searching things, to being a scientist, to being a superhero, or to any of those things. All the other characters did. And even if there was, for example, Captain America, he went purposely to do the research. He was in the army. He was wanted to be a superhero. Iron Man, he dedicated his life to creating Iron Man. Black Widow. She was supposed to be a villain. She didn't want to be a villain. She turned into a superhero joining
Shield. Are you sure you want to have this conversation right now?
We're going to freeze back here. Black Widow was supposed to be a villain, but she joined Shield and she wanted to be a superhero. Hulk was a scientist.
Captain America wanted to go and serve in the war because he felt like protecting the little guy. Okay.
Superhero.
Iron Man was he was originally dealing in weapons and weapons
superhero
manufacturing.
Complex. Iron Man has a superhero complex.
And then he almost died, created the suit to get free. Bruce Banner wanted to recreate the super soldier serum, failed, created the Hulk instead. Hawkeye is just like whatever it is. Black Widow is just like a crazy bitch.
That was supposed to be a villain.
With a lot of trauma.
Didn't want to be a villain, so she joined superhero. But that's like Jennifer, she is a grown adult. She's a lawyer. She likes her life. Being She-Hulk was an accident, and it adds onto her personality, but she doesn't want to be who she already is. That's why when Hulk, her cousin, comes to her and says that she has responsibility, she has this, she doesn't want that. That is not her life. That is not who she is. So that's why they don't make her to be like, oh, let me join the Avengers now. I'm She-Hulk, like I'm a superhero, because that's not who she is. That's why She-Hulk serves the purpose that she was meant to be, which is not a superhero. She isn't a superhero. She wants to be a lawyer. She wants to bring her life back together. She wants to control being She-Hulk. Eventually, she wants to embrace She-Hulk, but still be a lawyer. That's why she goes on dating apps. That is real life woman shit.
I'm not gonna lie, that was actually fucking hilarious. Where as Jennifer Walters, she was getting nothing, but as She-Hulk, she got some dudes and she just started carrying them. I'm like,
people wanted to fight that ass. They wanted to fucking have that She-Hulk.
Yes, because they wanted a muscle mommy, not lawyer.
Exactly, but that is the point. The point is, she did not want to take note. She did not want to be a superhero. That was not her story. That was not her ending. She didn't become, because the point of the series is not, I'm gonna become She-Hulk because eventually she'll join the Avengers. She might, maybe she will, because like her cousin will ask for help, and maybe she will. But she wants to be who she is. She's Jennifer. She's a lawyer. She likes her life.
She is a strong, independent woman.
Exactly, which is why I like the series, because it was different. It still had the good content. It still had the stories. It still had her. And I love the fourth wall breaking, because I had no idea. Because, okay, remember when Deadpool came out?
Uh-huh.
And Deadpool, Ryan Reynolds would do this all the fucking time. He would tease all the time. That motherfucking tease would say how he was going to be on the Avengers. He would put posters of him sitting at like the tower of like Stark, and like would like hint on Avengers all the fucking time. Because I remember I used to be like, how the fuck are they gonna add a fourth wall breaking character into like a series in a movie franchise that does not have that shit? Like, it's real world. Like, if you think about it, it's not our world, but it's a multiverse version of our world. So how are they gonna add like a fourth wall breaking character into that world? And I felt like she slid into that.
So what you're saying is that Deadpool walks so Jennifer Walters could run. Maybe.
I mean, if they add Deadpool into the franchise,
I'm not gonna argue
Jennifer walked so Deadpool could run, because if they added her
Deadpool 3 is going to be focusing a lot on like multiverse and shit and variants and whatnot.
And that's the thing, because they slid her in that character perfectly, because no one else breaks the fourth character besides her. She is Jennifer. She breaks the fourth wall and no one notices. Have you ever seen Fleabag?
No.
Please watch it. She breaks the fourth wall, and she does it perfectly in the real world of us. And that's why I liked her character, because when Deadpool came out, I used to wonder, like, how the fuck would they do that? Like, how are they going to just add someone that talks to us if they're technically in their world, they're supposed to be us. They're supposed, because there was no multiverse. There was the belief of multiverse, and everybody talked about multiverse.
Do you know about Gwenpool?
I don't think so.
You know Spider-Gwen, right?
Yeah.
So now think of that, but Deadpool. She's even more powerful than regular Deadpool.
Yeah. Okay.
You should get into comics just a little bit. It's
gonna I should, but I don't have enough time. Well, I have enough time now that since I'm not working. Someone wants to help me out there in the world. But that's my thing.
We are both taking Sugar Mama and Sugar Daddy application. No, but like that's the whole thing with like live action.
Please tag my Instagram.
It's not always pretty, and like Dragon Ball, that was a shitty thing that people were there just to cash checks. However, the One Piece live action, that's made by fans for new fans. Like whether you're okay with how the series went originally, how it is with the live action, or with like the redesign that there's a studio. It's one of the two studios that does Spy Family. They're gonna do the entirety of One Piece from the beginning to the end in the current new animation style and keep it true to the adaptation.
Which is why I told you that.
Nobody got time for these 1,000 episodes. TZ, I'm looking at you. All of my mutuals on TikTok, personally, they're like, "Oh, you should go." No, I ain't got the time or the day to do any of that. It's 1,000 episodes. It's so jarring. It's like I'm not gonna watch no goddamn Grey's Anatomy, but nonetheless, it's a lot for you to get into. Where it's like, okay, cool, we're gonna shrink these 1,000 episodes down to like 700. I'm like, you know what, 700? I can do that. I've done it once before. I can do it again.
But that's not just the point, which is what I told you about like being live action, because people don't really give a shit about the live actions that they make. Which is why One Piece was the first live action that I actually was interested in watching. I haven't watched it yet because I actually told you, like, I wasn't sure if you had to watch the anime.
You don't.
And you told me you don't. So now I actually want to watch. I started watching the first episode, but then I'm like, well, I don't want to watch this if I have to watch like some of the anime first. Like, I don't want to not know what's happening. So I pressed pause and I didn't go back to it. And I was watching like my other ones, like Spy Family, all the other ones. And then you told me that you don't have to. So I actually want to watch it because I've seen a lot of like trailers and everything for live action, but I never felt like I wanted to watch it because I feel like people don't really give a shit. And it's what I told you before. Like, they have the finished work, 5-star. People loved it. Good work. And they still don't care for it because they want the money. Which is why people do reboots, because there's no creativity and they do that. But because of live action, which is like the thing is, the reason people also nowadays don't put that much effort into, like, you don't see newer people that many fans of like Naruto, One Piece, and that, because they have so many episodes, because the filler episodes are confusing. At some point you get lost because like you have your main idea of here, which is finding the One Piece. And every season is a different main topic. Like we have, like I told you, I was doing the example, like you have the map, now we need to find the key. Realistically, if you have the map, that's a 2-episode thing. It's Dora the Explorer 1-episode thing. Like, where is the map? We have the map. Where is the island? Oh, let's find the key. It's literally...
Can you spell pendejo?
Pendejo. And that's why they put so many filler episodes.
Do you see this giant behind me that's going to crush me with his club? No? Can you point to me, the dead carcass of this dinosaur? Oh, it's right here. Good job.
But that is the purpose. That's the purpose of filler episodes, because they need to make a 10-episode season into a 24-episode season. And then you put so many filler episodes that you lose the main track, which is what I gave you the example of Fairy Tail. Like, I would be watching random episodes that are filler episodes, and then out of nowhere you're back in the island and now they're fighting for their lives and they're gonna fight each other and this and that, and I'm like, you forgot the whole point of that season because you are so focused on the current episode that you're on that the next episode you're back to the main point of the series, of the season, and then you actually forgot what the fuck was happening.
So that's something that, like,
which is why Jujutsu Kaisen got like that good.
Oh, shit. Jujutsu Kaisen is amazing, but we'll come back a little bit. So the thing with adaptations is that if they start before the original story gets far enough, then they end up catching up to it. And then what ends up happening is that they need to veer away from it and then come back to it. Which is why it's better to like wait 2, 3, maybe even 4 arcs. 3 arcs is probably good. Like in Jujutsu Kaisen, when we got to the Shibuya arc in the manga, I think it was like it was either part 1 or part 10. It was something like that. It was like early stages of the Shibuya arc, where in the manga, Gege Akutami was like, oh, the anime has just started releasing right now. So like we're a few years into the story, we're a few arcs into the story. Mind you, they did one season, did a couple arcs, they stopped because Mappa overworks all the thing that they fucking do. They do like 12 projects in a year, and they hand in the project the day it's due. There's an episode of Jujutsu Kaisen that it was handed in 30% completed, and it was like the highest rated episode. It's bullshit. So Mappa does too much, but for that example, it's perfect. Where they did a season, they stopped, they moved on, did something else, and then they came back. Okay, now we're in the culling games. We've gone through all of Shibuya. We've gone through like in the I'll call it the interim arc in between Shibuya and the culling games. And now like we're not even in the culling games anymore. We're in like the aftermath of it, and I don't know what we would call it. I think I would call it like final battle or some shit, or like the end of all things, something like that. Whatever we're gonna call it. I don't know what we're calling it because I'm not fully caught up, and I'm kind of losing my train of thought. But so filler. A lot of shows nowadays don't have filler like back in the day because it's the product of the time. Right now we have social media. We're scrolling like crazy. I scroll like crazy. I have an addiction, but there's so much scrolling involved that people are like,
drugs.
Huh?
I reminded of some of that vine that goes, "What are you gonna do with this? Buy drugs?"
Oh my god!
No, it's for ice cream. Bye.
But yeah, like their people's attention spans are so low that they don't have the time or patience to watch filler anymore.
But that's what I told you about. I'm like, you don't have to have. There's a difference. There is a in between, which is why I told you Demon Slayer. Like Demon Slayer. First of all, I really like Demon Slayer, and they do have a certain amount of like. They maybe not be considered filler episodes because they might be related, but like certain seasons have definitely more filler episodes. But what I like it is because it doesn't take away from the story, and it doesn't take away it doesn't take away too much that like I forgot what the main point of the season is about. Not the series, but the season.
There's a difference between adding context and just adding content.
Exactly.
Because when you add context, it helps overall.
These older series like One Piece and Fairy Tail, like I haven't finished Fairy Tail.
Like, Fairy Tail hasn't been fully animated.
Because I'm not even like, I think I might be a little over halfway there. Because the thing is, it's just so much that the filler episodes too that like tire me. They like tire me as I'm watching it. Then I just want to go to another
There's one episode though. Different. There's one episode that's not filler. I thought it was filler. Because there you are on the island.
Yeah.
Fighting for your life, and then it cuts to the guild. I'm like, I don't want the guild. I want that. So I'm literally skip. But that's actually like that scene is so important when they go back to the guild, because once you go back to the island, the episode ends. The next episode starts with a massive time skip. And the remnants of the guild, of what's left. And I'm like, maybe I should have watched that. Oh, well, I've come this far. I'm not going to go and turn back now.
But that's the point. It's just because people, like, I like filler episodes, but at some point, you're just missing the whole point of your thing. Because, like I said, like, it's understandable because you can't really do your whole season, like, from episode 1 to 12. You know, they have the map, found the key, and now you put your filler episodes. But like, you need to place them strategically, because it's why people aren't dedicated to go into, like, I will not watch One Piece. I'm not going to do it. I'm already torturing myself with Fairy Tail. You think I'm going to do it? You really think so? No. Like, I'm not going to torture myself with that. And, like, I like the concept, and I know I would like it, but I'm not going to torture myself with that, because I know I would eventually stick to it and I would still like it, but a piece of me would hate it, because there's so many filler episodes that aren't like that. Not that they don't have to be there, because it was everything did it at the time. That's why Naruto has filler episodes, Fairy Tail, like these older animes that like have been going on for so many years. They have that because that's what everybody did, and that's why animes nowadays don't do it like Spy Family. I mean, if you think about it, every episode is a filler episode. Because and that's what
it's well done though. Like it keeps my attention.
Because it's not, because I think the difference from the filler episode is because it's a side quest, and some filler episodes are 3 episodes long, and not Spy Family. Every episode, it's its own episode, and even if there's a part 1 and 2, like every episode is still its own episode with its own story, with its own detail. Like everything is very separate. It's kind of watching like a comedy, like kind of watching Friends. Like there's a beginning, a middle, an end to each episode. Even if it's part 1, 2, or 3, every episode has its part beginning, middle, and end.
Yeah, it's very episodic is what it's called.
Yeah,
like
and it hits the dopamine. It hits the dopamines because it keeps you engaged.
Like that. That's a great way to even like bring in like Rick and Morty too. Be like Rick and Morty was like it's very episodic. Mm-hmm. Each episode is its own contained thing. Like there might be like callbacks to something from an earlier season, but it's nothing crazy. Like Evil Morty, that's a callback, and it's not a main driving factor, but it is something that's happening in the background almost constantly until you get to season 3, and then again till like the current season, which is crazy. But
that's the thing that's like, what makes JoJo's a comfort series things.
JoJo's like it's not really episodic because you have to watch the entire thing for you to get it. But each part is its own unique thing, beginning, middle to end. But you can have like a concept that might carry over, but even then, like it's its own thing, and you can respect it for what it is.
But that's how a series becomes a comfort series. Because once you watched all of it, you know the story, you know the middle, the beginning, and not the
I would never watch JoJo's again.
No, but what I mean is, you know the beginning, you know the middle, and you know the end, and not of episode of in series and season. You know it of the series. You know the beginning, you know the middle, you know the end. But if you're bored and you miss it, and every once in a while you would pop up a random episode that you remember you really like, but you still remember the beginning, the middle, the end. So you could watch a random episode and still not be lost. That's what makes a comfort series. That's why people go back and rewatch and watch and buy and everything. I like The Office. You know that. The Office left Netflix. I've watched The Office a good 6 times, fully. And when The Office went to Peacock, I bought a premium membership to watch it on Peacock. Because it becomes a comfort series. Because I know the middle, I know the beginning, I know the middle, and I know the end. So I could watch any episode randomly at any point, and I wouldn't be lost. Because I still know enough that I could watch it from any point in time. Like, you know what? I feel like watching a Christmas episode today because we're on Christmas. So, like, let me calculate all these Christmas episodes. But because each episode is its own character, it becomes a comfort series. Because you could watch it at any point in time and you're still not lost. Because it's related to the main point, but it's also its own content. And which is what I like about comfort series, and what makes people make comfort series is because, you know, you're not going to abandon it. You watch the whole thing. But every once in a while, you know, I'm feeling like I want a little hit of dopamine. Like you want that, like that good stuff that you like. So let me pop a little Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Let me pop that one funny episode.
Rest in peace to Andre Bauer, man.
No.
That shit killed me.
I wanted to cry.
I was like, oh, let's go. Oh, we can't. Like, I was going to make a TikTok. It was like, when you go to like, where it starts off like really happy, and then like it turns to like really like dark, depressing sound. It's like, oh, I'm going to go rewatch like a great series with like great multicultural cast and whatnot. Oh, one of the actors died recently.
Yeah.
Because like whatever, I think it was like cancer or something like that. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me?
Captain Meat Morph. And I loved it how in the end he did that.
Yeah, it's like, that's something that like happened in Loki as well. It's like having the callback to the first piece of work that you did, and kind of spoiling it. But the end of Loki, he does a speech before he goes and he becomes a god of stories. And Tom Hiddleston even said, he's like, oh, I was taking a jog, like a break in between shoots, and I just went for a jog, on the studio lot, and I was listening to the soundtrack from the first Thor movie, and then it hit me. I'm doing this. I did this for you, for us, for like the last words that he said. It's like he said that to Odin in the first story, and it had a completely different context. While in this one, saying the same words, but it's a completely different context. He's like, I'm willing to sacrifice myself for you.
Yeah.
Instead of before, he's like, I'm willing to sacrifice others for me. Mm-hmm. Which is like kind of what he was like, oh, I'm more than willing to sacrifice Thor so I can get what I want. That's not how it is.
But it's what I learned recently too about like, because everybody thinks nowadays that like what you choose, it's that forever and ever, and you can never change it. But there's a difference between a choice and a decision. Loki, before, he used to make choices. He used to be who he was. And it's not because he wanted, like, he didn't always want to be number one. It's just because he was the misfit. He didn't fit and he didn't feel loved. So he wanted to be picked. He basically was a pick-me girl. Loki was a pick-me girl. And the thing about that is that, like, now he settled on his decisions. He learned, and that's what the development of character does for you, because you're sitting on your choices, because you can't go back. You can go back.
The fact you just called Tom Hiddleston a pick-me girl, that's fucking wild.
Because he was. Loki was. He was a pick-me.
Oh my god.
It's
that's true. Tom Hiddleston. Like, I don't remember Thor 1 that much because it's like from so long ago.
He was a pick-me girl. He wanted daddy's love. He had daddy issues. He was a pick-me girl.
All right, he may have been your father, but he ain't your daddy.
Yeah, he was a pick-me girl. He wanted to be picked. He didn't feel love. But that's the thing. The thing is that he realizes that over time, with his choices, he thought that with his actions, he would be able to be happy. It's not that he did it only out of spite, but he thought that those choices would lead him to what he wanted, to love, to affection, to be picked, to be number one, to be better, to be what he thought he wasn't, to what he thought he already wasn't. Because he couldn't do those choices. Because if you think about it, those choices that he did now were Thor. Thor was that person. He was the superhero. But that's why Loki wanted to be the villain, because he didn't want to be Thor. He wanted to be his own person. He wanted to be different, and he wanted people to pick him because he was different. But now he was settling into the choices he made. Especially, that's why the series is so important, because he could see who he was. And with seeing him not doing those things, he was seeing what he did, and what he did affected him and other people. He was realizing that the choices he made, that he thought would lead him into his happy, perfect, happy ending, was not that realistic.
Me too. So with that being said, it's a lot. The food was, for the most part, really good, except for like one of the things, the chips, which was like ass. I didn't like it. Oh no, it was this like weird rice pudding ball thing. I don't care about the bag. Yeah. We talked about a lot.
Yeah, but that's also.
But also, stop milking shit. Yeah. Give us good quality. We can wait. I can wait for. That's a lot. I can't wait for shit.
Stop thinking about the money.
We can wait for a show.
It's gonna be painful, but I'll wait for it. It'll be painful, and I'm gonna cry, and I might be like whatever, but it's worth it for the content, because it's gonna make your million thing into a multi-billionaire like worth thing. And it's also something that's going to be a legacy. Like, people in the future from now, they're not going to see your work again and be like, it was shitty. Like the Bourne Ultimate that I told you. Like the Bourne.
So, like, I actually lost my train of thought because you said Bourne. But it's stop like, stop milking it. Give us good quality content. And it's better for you to, like, take the longer run and wait to give us a good quality shit, instead of like, all right, cool, here's 30 things in a year. Here's 5 reboots, or here's like a prequel that no one fucking asked for because you guys did something in like, you guys didn't wait like 5-10 years for the show to be over, for it to be like, and now a prequel who you got canceled in 2-3 years. So sad. But it's a lot. It's a lot of things.
Yeah. And also, doing that too much is gonna ruin all that work you put into it through the years. Because if you think about it, the first Marvel movie, Iron Man, Captain America, is like years ago.
Yeah, it was 2006-ish, 7-ish.
It's gonna be almost 20 years in a couple years. Like, don't jeopardize all that work you've done to just put out content, which is what people do. Like, you're putting out content, and you're putting out too much, meaning that you don't need it.